Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another championship prediction video. Absolutely buzzing for another one. We've had a great week 7, or rephrase that, I've had a great week 7, and quite a few others in the comments have too. The only one that didn't really have a great week was Ollie.
Yeah, don't talk to me about it. It happens. Sometimes you just can't get going. Sometimes you just hit that stride, especially midweek. You can't find your form. But yeah, this wasn't for me. This one, I've not had an enjoyable midweek apart from United, which I did enjoy.
Yeah, obviously. And do you know what else you're not going to enjoy?
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Looking at the league table, because as you can see, myself, Nick, has overtaken Ollie, and now I am 3 in front. We're both miles away from the viewers, but I have overtaken you, and that's really all we can go at, really, into each other.
Yeah, it's important not to get carried away with early season results. The league's still just taking shape. No one knows quite how it's going to finish.
Well, this is actually what I was saying to you earlier. Like, I'll pop up the results from me and you and the actual scores, and if you look, there's a lot less red than there has been in the last few games, because obviously, look at that, 3 big correct scores from myself, and then. Like even you, Ollie, like you haven't had the best of weeks, but there's not that much red. I think we've done quite well this week.
No, I think getting sort of 50% is, I think, what I've got. I think you've got a little bit more than that in terms of at least being able to get the results. Shows that, things are settling down. We are getting a handle on the championship. Not quite as much as the viewers, though. You referenced it yourself, but some of our viewers have more than got a handle on the championship this season. Going to give lots of big shout outs today because lots of people got big scores. First one out, Keith Whitaker. He managed to get 10. 10 is a fantastic score. I mean, most weeks that would win, just not this week because other people have done a madness. Patrick Raybold, he got 12. Adrian, you've not got a surname, but you also got 12. Louis Stanton got 12. But there was one man who stood above us all. Nick messaged me earlier. He said, I got 13 points this week. That'll be the best score that we've had all season.
No. I did say that.
Is that the best score so far? And I took great joy in replying, no, it's not. Because there's a man in our comments, Lewis Carter. He got 14 points this week, and it's a cracking, just.
Well done, Lewis.
We were saying we'd done quite well. I think I said I got 6 results, and I thought that's all right. Lewis got 5 correct results, 3 perfect scores. So he's accurately corrected who was going to win 8 of the 12 games. That's an insane run.
I hope you put a bet on.
Yeah, I'm going to say you should have won some money if you've been betting on that. The only other man to call out is an enjoyable one, which is Statman Adam. After giving him my greatest apology last week when he beat me, this week he has found himself right where he belongs, the rock bottom of our leaderboard. He was dead last, 3 points. Even I doubled him.
That's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Shouldn't show his face on these videos ever again.
Calls himself a stat man. He knows nothing.
Knows nothing. Right, okay. Let's get cracking into it, mate. So we've got West Brom versus Burnley for the first game. Now, both teams are shaping up to be playoff contenders, if not top 2 contenders. What do you think is going to happen in this game?
Yeah, I'm predicting a draw for this one. Burnley have been able to get the wins on the board, but maybe not always having the performance there. West Brom are having all of the performance and maybe can't get the wins on the board. Just feels like a typical draw. 1-1. West Brom probably miss 55 really good chances and get really annoyed at full time.
Possibly. I've gone for the same. I think there's going to be a few more goals, a couple more goals in it. I hope this isn't going to be us agreeing on everything. So let's go into the next one. We've got Blackburn Rovers versus Bristol City. And Blackburn last night picked up a very, very valuable win and actually put themselves back in the race for kind of playoffs. I know it's early, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, it just compounds what's a really good start for them, I think, as much as anything. They started really well. They were running down and really struggling. So it was good for them to stop that rot, get the win on the board. I wasn't impressed. I did manage to watch some of the game, and I wasn't exactly sat there thinking, oh, God, these are a team. I have, however, said every week that I just really like Bristol City. I don't know why. Just really, every time we do this, I'm like, oh, no, I like Bristol City. And I like them again for this game. I think they are a better side than Blackburn, if I'm being entirely honest. And I think they're going to win it 2-0.
There you go. I don't think Bristol City are going to win this game. Blackburn Rovers have finally won a game. I've been saying every week Blackburn are going to win. Blackburn are going to win. And they finally did it. But I'm not going to say they're going to win this game. I think they've regained a bit of confidence. So I've gone for a draw. I think Bristol City are scoring lots of goals. So I think, yeah, that's going to end in a draw. Luton Town versus Wigan now. And Luton have started pulling up some trees.
Yeah, got a really good win midweek. I think it was 2-1, but away from home, I still think they've struggled to get going at home so far this season. Not sure they've picked up any wins yet, but I do think this is one where that could change. I think they've got enough presence about them. I saw enough when they played against United to actually think that these are just waiting for that to click. And maybe that victory midweek is what's going to do it for them. I think it's low scoring, but I think Luton 1-0.
Yeah, there you go. There's a lot of Luton wins, and there's also some draws too. But we've both gone for Luton wins, and I think Luton are going to take it 2-0. Millwall versus Cardiff. Is this one of those games that we don't care about, Ollie?
I was just going to say, this is the quintessential, not for the neutral. I don't think anybody who isn't a fan of these is going to want to watch this game. I think it's two teams who are probably going to finish this season as mid-table fodder. Cardiff maybe a bit lower than that. I think at home, I've said it every week and it's not always true, but I think at home, Millwall are a good team. I think they're a hard team to play against. I think they will win this game, but I don't think anyone's going to really remember it if we're talking about it again in about 3 months' time. So I'm saying 2-1 to Millwall.
There you go. I've gone for a 1-0 Millwall. We are agreeing on many games here. Next up is another agreement because it's Norwich versus Coventry City. Coventry not playing too many games this season, as we keep saying. Norwich are winning every game God sends at the moment, and I believe they are second in the league now. It is taking shape because there's Blades, there's Norwich, there's Burnley, and there is it Watford, the other team. So those are the top four. And actually, I thought those were going to be the top four at the end of the season. So I've gone 3-0 Norwich in this game.
Yeah, and I've gone 3-1. I still don't feel like I've got enough to judge Coventry. All I know is that they were the team that let Preston score. And that's enough for me, really, to be concerned about them defensively. I think, like you say, Norwich are getting on a roll. They've won 4 on the spin, I think it is now. And I think they'll keep that going at home, keep the good times rolling. And I think they might now start to really steamroll this league and maybe just kick on to keep that promotion race going.
I thought you were going for promotion game then. I was going to go with it. I was going to go with promotion game, but let's instead go for Preston versus Birmingham City. Now, you must have gone for a 0-0. You must have.
No, I haven't. And this is the first time, I think, all season that I haven't gone for the 0-0 because Preston have scored a goal. They've won a game midweek. They've still not conceded one. And I think that Birmingham are rubbish. So I think that Preston are going to win this game. I think they're going to continue scoring goals. And I think they're going to win 2-0. And that look on your face, have you gone 0-0? Oh.
Do you know what? I don't think this game's going to finish 0-0. But I knew that you were going 2-0. So what I did instead, I think if this finishes 0-0, I will have your life for it. So that's why I've gone 0-0. I think it's probably going to be a Preston North End win, but I had to do it.
If this is 0-0, I'm going to be absolutely fuming. Absolutely fuming.
There's a couple of draws. There's a couple of Preston wins. Yeah, let's have a see what happens with that one on Saturday. Next up, Rotherham United versus Watford. We don't give well, we do. We've started to give Rotherham the credit they deserve. Then they went and got smashed by Sunderland midweek. So I'm going to jump straight in there. I've gone for a Watford win.
Yeah, I understand why. Like you say, we've finally started giving Rotherham the credit they deserve. And then the best centre half gets injured and they get absolutely mullered at Sunderland. I think that was always a reaction we expected from Sunderland, from the manager leaving. I think still at the New York, Rotherham are a completely different sort of side. I don't think they're going to let teams get on top of them or crumble in the way they did at the Stadium of Light. I think they can hold Watford out. I think they can get a draw. It's relying on, I think it'll probably be a high XG variance, but I still think they can get the draw.
I'm excited to find out what happens in that game, to be honest. It is one for the neutrals for me. Lots of goals. Everyone's going for. Adam's going for 5 goals, so you know what's going to happen there. Not 5 goals. Let's move on to Swansea versus QPR. Now, QPR have had a very good start to the season, in my opinion. I think Swansea are just starting to put 1 or 2 results together. So I'm going to go straight in there. I've gone for a 1-1 draw. I think that QPR could steamroll them. I really do. But I do also think it could be one of those games where Swansea just stay in there, and manage to get the draw.
Yeah, I can see it. I mean, I just don't see Swansea as the kind of team that can do that. I don't think they've got it in them to stay in a game when they're not playing well. And I think that QPR have just got so much offensively. You know, they score goals for fun. They've got some fantastic creative players. I just think they've got way too much for Swansea. I think Swansea will probably have, massive amounts of possession. I just think that QPR will, when they get the ball, really punish them.
Yeah, that is Swansea for you. They like the ball. Reading versus Stoke now. And Stoke really, really struggled in their last game in midweek. And Reading, what did Reading do? Did they struggle?
They might have struggled a little bit, Nick.
They got hammered. They got hammered. And they were rubbish, Ollie, weren't they? They were terrible.
They were bad. I somehow still don't think they were as bad as Blackburn, but they weren't good. But having said that, the last time they came to Yorkshire, they also got an absolute battering when they were at Rotherham. I think it was 4-0 that day as well. They responded to that with 3 really good wins on the spin. So as much as they didn't impress me at Bramall Lane, they didn't really feel as though they'd come to play. Even at 1-0, I thought they were quite happy just sitting at 1-0 and maybe waiting for a corner, a set piece, a something to give them a spark at the end of the game. Stoke have got the new manager in, struggled to a 1-1 draw.
Fair enough. I'm just clicking through them then, and they were all Sheffield United predictions, which was a bit odd. There we go. You've gone for a 2-1 Reading win. I've also gone for a Reading win. So, let's see what happens. Let's see how Reading bounce back. Next up, we've got Huddersfield Town versus Blackpool. Go on. Tell me all about Huddersfield and Blackpool.
I have very little about these two because I really don't have very rate them, if I'm being honest. I think they're two probably lower half teams. I think Huddersfield are still in trouble, even though they've turned it around a little from their terrible performances at the start. One thing I do like, though, about Blackpool, apart from the games that I watch them on telly, they go goal crazy. If they're not on TV, it's Saturday at 3 o'clock, goals, goals, goals. And I think there's always a game in the Championship that's got that potential. And I think this is it. Huddersfield haven't massively impressed going forwards, but Blackpool have seemingly struggled defensively. So I just think this is the game that is probably the one to watch if you were a neutral, because I think it's going to be fun. I think Blackpool are going to nick it and win 3-2. Ooh.
There we go. I've gone for a Huddersfield win. They are third bottom, but these teams have got to try and start picking points up, have got to start winning games. And at home, although not always, but I feel like Huddersfield may just have a little bit too much with the crowd behind them. Let's hope that Hull City don't have the crowd behind them and don't relish the chance of beating top of the league, because Sheffield United go to the whatever it's called these days. I always call it the KC, but it's not been the KC for about 3 kind of stadium renames ago.
Is it not KCOM now?
Yes, I think it's KCOM.
Not far off.
It's been but it was the KC, and it was something else before that, and I think there might have been something in the middle. Who knows? But obviously, the Blades smashed Reading. We've just spoken about it a few minutes ago, 4-0. We did look very, very good. However, at the time of recording, Sander Berge may be on his way to Belgium for some unknown reason. Why? Who knows? But we won't talk about that too much because it may not happen. And people watching this in a day's time might be like, what are you even on about? So what I've decided to do in this game is go 1-1 because we are not good away from home. I hope we're not going to continue that trend You don't think we're going to continue that trend. You think we're going to get our first away win of the season. But who the hell, are top of the league and haven't won a game away from home?
Yeah, it's, to be honest, our away form is bizarre. We just look a completely different team. I thought it when we were watching them against Reading the other night. It's just, we're like going to a shell away from home. We're so much more conservative. We're so much more sort of on the back foot when the game starts. Whereas at home, we really push on. We get straight into teams, and we just don't seem to do that away from home. One thing that I do think is in our favour, last season we went to Hull and we've scored goals off set pieces. Now, I would say that before this season, if I'm being honest, I was never that sold on us as a team that can attack and score off set pieces, but it's always been a weakness of Hull's. Now that we've got players that can attack set pieces, we've got Anel, who's capable of scoring goals. We've got Egan, who, he had a good time there last season. He's normally a 50p head, but maybe he can sort it out just because he loves it at the cake on. So I do think we can win this game. I was terrified when I saw the news earlier that Hull had signed Adama Traore. Honestly, I absolutely lost my mind. I then looked at the news article properly, and it's a completely different Adama Traore.
Thank
Just
God
for a
for
moment,
that.
I had the sweats on big time. But it's good to see it's not him, and I'm still confident United can turn around that away form and can win this game.
Who do you think is going to score for them, Ollie?
I reckon it's going to be Oscar Estupinian.
There we go.
He is a bags man. He is a bags man. I'm telling you, he's my outside shout for the top scorer. He just seems to be in the right place, right time. He always scores, and I always shout him out.
I had to give you that one because it's almost like you'd forgot to mention his name, which I think you've said in pretty much every video.
Well, it's a fun name, and he's a great player. And whenever he's scoring goals, I'm shouting him out.
There we go. Now, Boro versus Sunderland. Boro have won a game of football, Ollie, now. They are now playing Sunderland, which is it a derby? Sort of close to each other.
They think it's a derby.
They're all up there, aren't they?
Yeah. I've been to both, and it's roughly the same journey.
It's the same place, pretty much.
Yeah, it's close enough. It's fine. I think, for me, I've been reading a lot on Twitter today, been sort of speaking to some friends I've got who are sort of Middlesbrough fans, and they're starting to get a little bit nervy. They did have that win at last, which I think they felt was coming, but then they've lost midweek at Watford. It's not a bad result, that. Watford are a great side. There's plenty of teams that's going to lose there, but I still think they are getting still twitchy, still nervous. They don't seem to have got players coming in the door today that I've heard any rumours on, which again is getting them a bit nervous. If Sunderland can start well and can take the lead in this game, which we all know they're capable of because they're a good side, I think the crowd could be a difficult one at Middlesbrough. Despite all that, I still think Boro have enough to win this game. I just think it's going to be a battle.
Yeah, I agree. But I do expect Boro at some point to get their act together and start putting wins together. Chris Wilder is a fantastic manager after all. And that is one of the reasons why I've gone for a Boro win. But saying that, I think I've gone for a Boro win in pretty much every video. So, yeah, eventually Boro have got to win a game. Eventually. Anyway, that's us all done, mate.
Wow, it's been quickly through then.
Quick one. Yeah, absolutely. If you guys would like to play along, I'm going to put all the fixtures in the comments, in the description on YouTube. All you got to do is copy and paste them into the comment box and give us your predictions. And as I always say, Ollie might be shouting you out next week. Thank you very much, Ollie, for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Nick. Appreciate it.
No problem. And we will see you next time. See you later.